Hi, and welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna do a live coding session, and I don't know how long it's gonna be and how many videos it's gonna require, but I want to solve an issue I have, a little pet peeve. Today I have a video process that is not optimal. You would like your process to be shoot the video, do some editing, and then upload the video. And then it could have some automatic parts in between, but you would like those to be minimal. And at the moment I have shoot the video, then I do some post-processing, I edit the video, and then I do some exporting of the video while I sleep, because that will take some while, and then I upload the video when I wake up. And this is not a good solution for me, because the time between when I wake up and the time I have to leave is quite short, so this uploading video is hurting a bit. So I have seen that there's a lot of programs out there that could do video uploading, and there's an API to handle all of this. But sadly, this API and these different programs doesn't take one factor into account that I really want to handle with my solution, and that is that I want to do my editing and export, and when the export is done, or sometime after that, I want upload to start. So I will, after I edit my videos, I want to do all the settings for the video and then do my upload. If you have uploaded anything to YouTube, you have seen the page where you can click add a video, and you can't click that button to upload a video until your video is actually done exporting, because you don't have that file. But if I have a program that I say set to upload a video at a certain time, say at 3 o'clock in the night, when I know that my video has exported correctly, then I could actually make it upload the video that is done with all the settings and all the different parts that is required for my upload to be successful and be a part of my collection. So I want to improve this later stage. I have already improved the first stage. Before, I had a lot of manual stages in the post processing of my video, so I had to first record the video and then put it into Audacity and do some manual steps there, and then make my edits. And that process I have slimmed down, so now I just run a script and remove all of that. But today I want to improve the later part of my my work. So let's get started then. So start by putting this one away and turn on some programming sounds. It's always good to have some background sounds when you program. So, and then we're gonna start by building a small GUI, and for that we will require a project. Let's set up a Maven project so we can import all the modules that we require. Start this process by setting up a simple Maven project, and as you can see here in the beginning, I had some trouble with the Eclipse. It's not really that responsive, sadly, so a lot of time is taken to actually get Eclipse responsive and actually build things with Eclipse. I think I will build the rest of this tool using IntelliJ or something, because Eclipse wasn't the right tool for the job. And after I've set up the project, I will create the package name for the YouTube uploader. I create the scheduled YouTube scheduled uploader, I call it, and I create that as a frame. I tried to import the frame class here, but sadly Eclipse wasn't that responsive, so it actually ended up much faster to just create the class and add the interfaces and the frame extension afterwards. So I couldn't be bothered by doing it through the GUI or the wizard. And after I set up this project, I set up all imports and added the action performed function, and then created a constructor and tried to set up a small layout that I could use for my application. I needed to have a title, a description, some tag input, and then I was thinking about what I wanted more, but I skipped that for now and set it to visible just to see if I could get some implementation up on screen to have something that was viewable. Then I thought I required a main program, and after a while I realized that why create a main program when the YouTube scheduler could actually be the main program as well, because this is a simple tool that I'm gonna use. I don't really require to have that many classes and separate up all the different responsibilities, because this is more of a tool. It's not a really heavy production used utility. So in the future, if I wanted to make this something that many people should use, then I might separate it up more. And as you saw, that I actually got up a GUI to that view showed the different field I had, and then I tried to set the size on those. Realized that the size set size function didn't do anything with flow layout, which made me a bit sad. So just trying to see if I can get things up and running. I wanted to see if I got any action forwarded when I pushed the X to close the window, and then I added a window listener to see if I could get any response from that. It seemed that that wasn't the right solution for this problem, but trial and error usually will give you a lot of insight into what to actually do in the different situations. It ended up that I went out and Googled a lot to find how do you actually make a frame close on the X mark. So, and then I realized that I could change all these different inputs to text area and just say that I wanted a number of lines and width of them, and then I got a more succinct GUI with nice boxes that I could fill in, but I still hadn't solved my problem with the X to close down the window. So I googled it some more to see if I will find a solution for it. I think I just copy-pasted some code after a while. Okay, so I'm in looking at the video uploads. I didn't solve that issue right away. Sometimes it's good to just let something go and do something else. So here I create the uploader and I just copy and paste some code from the Google sample page. And see here, removed a lot of comments to get the code more readable. Sometimes a lot of comments can make code very verbose and then you can't see all the code in one screen, and sometimes that's not what you want when you want to understand code. If you don't want to know every thought about how this is set up, you just need to know what is actually going into the calls, then sometimes the comments could be in the way. It's really good when you read code on a page to have a lot of comments, but maybe not when you working with it. So now I'm out hunting for a missing class called auth, command auth, to make the specific authorization for the, let's see what protocol it was. Yeah, the auth. I don't remember what it's called. After a long while I figured out that OAuth, that's what it's called, the OAuth authentication. And after a while I figured out that the OAuth authentication was in some of the extensions, so I finally found those extensions on the Maven repositories. The Maven repositories show that you should use the extension, not only the extension library, but you needed the extension for Yeti as well, which I thought at the beginning was really strange, but after thinking about it a bit more I realized that that was quite obvious, because the interface that actually was used when it created the OAuth tokens, it had to create a local server and start it up on your machine to make you go to a web page and acknowledge that it's okay for your program to go out and talk to YouTube, and that's done with a local server. So then a Yeti would be a really good fit for communicating with YouTube and actually giving you permission to upload videos. But it took a long while for me to find that specific tidbit of information. So I was hunting around, trying a lot of different libraries until I found which libraries actually had all the code. And after that I had to figure out how to get credentials, and now I see that my program has came up working, and I will create some credentials for my upload. It takes a while on the Google homepage to get credentials, and then I wanted to create an OAuth key. Took a while for me to realize what I wanted there, and it was a bit confusing at start because I didn't realize that it was an OAuth ID for something other than a website, because usually you use OAuth on web things, but finally I figured out that I wanted to use a local server, so then I wanted to create a JSON file for these local settings, and took me a while also to figure out how the structure for this JSON file should look. And finally I found an example for the JSON file from the Python documentation, but I had to hunt that down as well. It took me a while. I had to go around the web few rounds before I actually found the JSON file. So here I found an URL in the source code that was pointing to nothing, so I went out searching more for it, and here I found these client secrets and realized which one of those I should use, and copied my information into it. And here I'm running it for the first time to upload, and found that, oh, I didn't have a file. So I looked fast to see if I had any files on disk that I could upload, and then I changed so that file was red when I executed the program. And here I'm trying to run the program for the first time to actually see if I can get the video upload working. And here I found out that it crashed when it tried to get progress because it didn't know how large my file was, so I had to get number of bytes instead. But the API was so good, so it actually told me which change I had to do until so I could fix that up simply and get it working. And now I have actually uploaded my first file, so I got the APIs working, and now I can go into trying to set up my application to do what it was actually meant to do. So now I'm actually out hunting for a way to close this window when it's open. So when you push the exit X, you should actually close the window. And I ran around and found a lot of different ways to do it, because depending on the Java version you did this a little bit differently. In some versions of with the JFrame you had the default closing operation that you set to JFrame exit on close or dispose on close, but in my case that didn't really work out, so I tried that a bit, and after that I went out googling again and found that you could set a function for closing down the window instead. And now I'm hunting for a way to set up a simple button, so I found some code for that and pasted that in to the program and tried to fix it up so I had a simple button that I could press, and the action when pressing the button was to take the video information that I had entered and put that into the video uploader and just do the same thing as earlier, upload the video. The only difference was that I wanted to incorporate the actual input that I had done in my class or in my GUI into the upload function. So now I continue the work of actually adding all the things I require for this button to work. I have checked that the button works a few times. You see that I have the button pressed output, and I will add some simple setters and getters, or setters to the uploader class, and populate those with the different values from file name, title, description, and tags. So I set the different values into the uploader, and then I try once to just run it, and I realized that I forgot to add the upload function, so it actually does the upload after I filled in all the information. And after a bit of trial and error and debugging, I found that I could actually upload a video. So I actually got that done and went on to try to solve the issue of scheduling an upload. And I did as simple as I could do it. So I just created a upload time field. So I got a string of the uploaded file and added that to my window. And I wanted just to use the simple notation of the hour and then colon minutes, and then I wanted to check if that hour mark was inside of this current day or if it was tomorrow. So if I put in, for instance, 5 o'clock AM and it was in the evening, I wanted it to realize that I meant 5 o'clock tomorrow and change that up to use tomorrow's timestamp. So add the actual add one day to the date. So I created a small function called getTime, where I take in the string of time and I separate up into hours and minutes. I check that I actually got two numbers. I check parse out the numbers and minutes values, and then I check that the current hour in the calendar is smaller than, or if the current value of the calendar is larger than the hours I have entered, then I want to add an extra day to the date. And by doing that, I got time that is, and then I set the actual time to the hour and minute mark. So the date I actually got out should be either today or tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So 0500 and then some seconds. So I didn't really care about what second it actually happened, just that it happens inside of that minute. I could actually say that, okay, it's fine if you do it this hour, but I wanted to have a little bit more precision in my testing. So I set it into this specific minute. And then after I created that function, I created a small thread sleep function. So every 60 seconds first, and then I changed it down to 15 seconds. So every 50 seconds I check if the current time is larger than the time that I had scheduled to actually upload the video, and if that was the case, then I wanted to upload the video. But in my first testing, I did the standard, I must say, mistake of actually not updating the current time. And if you don't update the current time, then nothing will happen, because you will check over and over again the same two values, and the stop time will never be larger than the current time, because it's just never changing. So it will not come to that point where the while loop will actually exit. So it took me some while to look at the code and actually figure out what small error I had done. And it's usually those small details that you don't really see when you're programming. You missed small details for all the larger scope of your program. So it's really important to familiarize yourself with your code and look into that you'll get all the logic parts correct. And if you see something that acts weird, then just add some extra outputs or debug the program, step through it and just see, does this program actually behave in a logical manner, or have I made some small logical mistake in my code? Which usually is the case. You have forgotten something, or you had added a equal mark when it should be not equal, or something easy like that. But after I realized my mistake, I could actually go in and try this function out, and I set it to happen a few minutes after the current time, as you can see on my clock. And after much waiting and anticipation, it actually uploaded the video, which means that I had made my first viable implementation, which was my goal for the first session, to create something that uploaded the video and did it in a scheduled manner. So I didn't want anything that was pretty, that had an extra flair to it, that had a lot of functionality. I just wanted something that did just the specific thing that I required and nothing else. So I think this is a really good time to stop this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you like this kind of content, please give it a like. Please leave a nice comment if you want me to change anything in this format. I wanted to do this as a small time lapse when I actually do some coding on an actual project, and then talk about it in more grander details, so you can see how a coding session, when I'm actually trying to create something that I want and need, how that could go. And I hope somebody out there gets excited of this and inspired and goes out to create something of their own and share it with the community. Please leave a comment if you're any one of those people, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!